Speaking of Santa, if I may make a segue here, Drive to Survive, the new season came out a week ago.
Santa's
and there
in
is
it?
a scene in it with technically Father Christmas.
Oh.
And he asked
Gangrel.
Christian Horner, who's a team principal at Red Bull, he asked his children if Daddy had been naughty the last year. And in hindsight, it was one of the most incredible bits of foreshadowing in the history of that show, because Christian Horner recently was accused of misconduct at Red Bull. And something insane happened yesterday in the world of Formula One, which I think people that aren't Formula One fans will find interesting, which is that Christian Horner, who's one of the faces of the sport, he had been accused of misconduct. He was being investigated by the team. The Formula One season starts this weekend. DNF will be back, TBD when. A little plug there. But the whole team's in Bahrain for the first race. And they said, okay, he's not, we're done with the investigation. Like, Christian's here. He's not going anywhere. We're clearing him, basically. And then a anonymous email gets sent to hundreds of F1 media members and to the heads of F1 with screen grabs of alleged text messages between Christian Horner and a employee of Red Bull. And this is the alleged wrongdoing that he was being investigated for. And so everyone in F1 is together right now. This was yesterday in Bahrain. They're still there. The race is tomorrow. And no one has been able to verify yet if these text messages are real. There's still, journalists working on it, trying to figure out what's what, trying to figure out how to deal with it, how to cover it, essentially, because no one knows who sent the email. Was it the person who's alleged to have been, the victim in this case? Is this someone else at Red Bull who thinks the investigation wasn't handled fairly? It's really sketchy. And obviously there's another person involved whose identity is anonymous. So it has to be, taken with some care, because they might not have wanted this information out there. But everyone is freaking out about this. And it is quite crazy.
Christian Horner's married to Jerry Halliwell, Ginger Spice, right?
Correct.
Okay. Married man, family, as you outlined early on. The photos, I imagine, are lewd in nature, very inappropriate.
I saw the files that were going around. And again, I don't know what's real and what's not real, but it was a lot of bad and shocking things.
So it's F1 is a global sport, European roots. And when things like this have popped up in soccer, they seem to be behind the times a little bit. They had, as you mentioned, an independent, well, not independent, the Red Bull owners themselves conducted this first investigation.
There were barristers involved, from what I read.
Okay. So what exactly what do you expect the reaction would be from Formula One?
That's the thing. I have no idea.
Nothing like this has ever popped out?
No, there have been several scandals, but I think Formula One has, in the last 5 years, has changed quite considerably the makeup of who is actually running the sport and who controls the power. And I think Christian Horner himself has a lot of power in the paddock. He has a lot of power over being the team principal and kind of running the show for one of the biggest brands in Formula One. Gives him a lot of power, and he can do a lot of things that maybe other people wouldn't get away with if the allegations are true. So I genuinely don't know what's going to happen, but for a weekend, the first weekend in Formula One, the first race is usually like, it's exciting, but things ramp up throughout the season. This is about as crazy of a story that could happen in the first weekend of Formula One season.
And I was just trying to search for punitive precedent. All the media has all these things, so it'll be curious. I do want to talk to you on the other side about Formula One in general, because it seemed as though the bubble burst on that here, at least stateside.